In the previous video, I shared with you how to whiten your sheets, meaning bring the text and the background both to white from wherever they are over the course of, say, some triggered events or some amount of time with triggers. But in this video, I'm going to share with you another idea, which is you can brighten up your checklist, and I'm going to change the code in this video so you can see how I edit the code from whiten your checklist to brighten up your sheets if you want to take a white background and just increase the RGB until it's some color and then keep it at that color. How do we do that? Well, the first thing is we have this range of get data range. We actually want to make sure that that's the entire sheet. We don't want just the data range. So I'm going to look at this sheet. We have A through H and 1 through 25. We can absolutely hard code that, right? Get range, and we're going to start at 1, 1, which is row 1, column 1, and then how many rows are there? What do we just say? 25? 5 rows, and how many columns? You can see here, number of columns. H is going to, we do this, forget 8. That's the number 8. 8 here. And now this is the range that it will work, this app script. If you are unfamiliar with this app script, I will walk through it very quickly here, but basically it's just going to take all the sheets, the active sheet you're on. For every single sheet that there is in the spreadsheet file, it will look at the range. In our case, we only have one sheet, so I'm setting the range to this one sheet. We can also programmatically do max columns, max rows, which we might do later. We're going to get the values of all of the range. We're going for each of the values. We're going to go to the cell and get the row and the column and get the background color, and then we're going to morph that background color in RGB. Then we're going to set the background to whatever that morph is. So for us, we know we're setting it at white 255 for all red, green, and blue, but we want to get to a point where it's at some color and then it'll stay that color. So let's pick a color now. I'm actually going to pick sort of a random color. Let's pick this yellow, and let's look at it. We're going to hit this custom color. The R is 250, so we want 251. We want 188 for green, and 4 blue. And what we're doing here is math max, meaning if we go through, we get the RGB of the existing color, then we are going to minus some number. We don't want to do -1. We did before because we wanted to very slowly over time make the changes, but we want actually these changes to happen relatively quickly. We're going to do 10x, so -10. So if it's 255, then it's going to go down to 45, and it's going to then compare 255 and get the max. This math max just looks at these two numbers and grabs the maximum. That means that if we get to 51, 188, and 4, and we try to minus 10, it will always pick 251, 188, and 4 if it's under each of those. So let's save this and actually run this a little bit. So just to double check that it is correct, it is working okay. Let's go up and just change Brighten background and click run. Let's see if we get any errors. We do have to review permission. We will have to review permissions. Let's go through that process every single time. Not every single time, sorry. The first time you run this code, I just created this code. All right, it is brightening, and there it goes. It's going through every single cell, brightening it up by 10 each RGB. Let's let it work. Okay, that's done, but I don't really want to be coming in here and clicking run every single time, and now it's going to do it again. I don't really want to do that. I want to have it actually be triggered when I do an edit on this A column. So let's look at what we can do here. While that's running, let's do function on edit, and we're going to run brighten background. So we're going to run when there's an edit, but we don't want that edit to be anything. We want variable sheet equals this event.source dot. And so what I did is I got the active sheet, source get active sheet, got the sheet name active sheet dot get name, and then I got the column number of whatever the edit is. This event, this E is an event. And I said, if the sheet name is equal to sheet 1, which you can change if your sheet name is different, and the column is equal to 1, then brighten background. So we're only going to be brightening the background when and if we edit the A column. So let me click here, and I think it'll just start right away, just brightening up the entire page, cell by cell by cell, one cell at a time. We can actually try to quickly do this to see if this top one is going to go past that yellow. We might need to do even more than 10 10 at a time to get it that fast. Let's see. So each one it's just going, and yeah, it's going to stop right at that orange and not go any further. I don't know if you can tell the top one is not changing, but every time this trigger is triggered, it's going to stop the old one and go through it. So we have this sort of shading, which is pretty cool. If you do your checklist pretty fast, it's going to look like this. But if you do your checklist pretty slow, it's going to look all orange all the time. I hope you enjoyed this. Brighten up your sheets. If you're a Google Sheet user, you should be brightening up your sheets. If you're a Better Sheets member, you can get this sheet for free at bettersheets.co.